What if I tell you that this TV at only 60 FPS has 3 times better motion clarity than my LG C1 OLED at 120 FPS with BFI? And you might be able to find this TV for a steal of a deal on the used market because it is just a 1080p 60 hertz LCD TV. People don't know how good this is going to be. And they're gonna think, yes, back in the day, Sony tax, it was very expensive. Actually, this TV was more expensive than the Panasonic ST60. And the picture quality is not as good. But nowadays, people think, and they're right for the most part, that a 1080p 60 hertz LCD TV is just trash. And they're probably gonna give it away. So, of course, it's going to be a unicorn. But if you can't find it, it is like having a gigantic CRT TV for gaming. This looks like a CRT in motion. That's how good it is. And I know it's hard to believe, but I'm going to show you in this video using the UFO test that it is actually the case. Okay, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna open the UFO test and I'm going to follow with my camera. I'm going to follow the UFO so you can appreciate how clear it looks. It's not going to be, like having it in front of you, but it will definitely be a proof of how good this is. It is a proof. When you follow the UFO test, it is telling you, with the video, you can see how clear it is. And you can do it with your own, LG C1 or your own gaming monitor to compare with this one. And it's absolutely unbelievable. Now, here's the thing. It is not as clean as the LG C1 because the LG C1 OLED has no crosstalk, okay? So it doesn't matter where the UFO test is, you have no trailing artifacts. It looks so perfectly clean, okay? So you're not gonna get that here, but it is more clear. So when the UFO test is moving faster or when you're just panning the camera faster on your game, it's more clear, but it's not as clean. But now, it's not very noticeable. When you're playing the game, it's not very noticeable. The crosstalk, the defects that you see when you move, they are not as noticeable. Now, for example, here, what I see here, when I move, is a ghost of this. You see this bridge here. I see a ghost here when I move the camera. And the faster you move, the longer the ghost, the trailing ghost behind the object is gonna be longer. And I can see it here too. If I move fast, I can see it here too. But I mean, we have nowadays, we have TAA, it's temporal anti-aliasing on all the games, which looks like that and sometimes even worse. So it's not a big deal. Okay, right now I have TAA off on this game to rule out, of course, that that's because of TAA. So it is definitely because of this crosstalk issue. But it's not a big deal. And when you see how clear it looks, I promise you, you're not going to care at all about that defect. Now, the other thing is that the motion clarity on this TV, and I'm going to show you that once I grab the camera on my hand with the UFO test, I'm going to show you that the ghosting is not the same across the entire screen. It is best in the middle and it's still okay when you go down the screen. But at the very top of the screen, you see not only a ghost at the trailing edge of the UFO test. So UFO test is moving left to right. You're going to see a ghost that's clearly visible at the trailing edge. It is dim though. So it's not very bothersome. You can see it, but it is significantly dimmer than the main UFO. And you also see another one that's very, 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 very faint. Nothing to complain about. But at the very top, you also see another ghost at the leading edge of the UFO. And yeah, that becomes a problem, because now you see a ghost, on the back of the object that's moving, and also at the front. Now, when I am actually panning the camera here on the game, again, it's not a big deal. I can see it. So, for example, if I look at this rock right here, I see that there is a ghost at the front and also in the back. So in both sides, I see a ghost. And yeah, I don't like it. Okay, and it is one of those things that once you know is there, you cannot unsee it. Okay, but for the most part, this is a gigantic CRT, 47-inch. It's a 47-inch. There's a Sony TV. I forgot the model. It's going to be in the title of this video. But it's like having a gigantic CRT because it's that good in motion. Okay. So now let me show you. Let me grab the camera. I'm gonna open the UFO test, and I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna follow. So let me show you what we're gonna do here. I'm going to follow this UFO test, and I can move it. So I can move this to the top, so you can see the difference in the motion clarity. When you go to the top, you're in the middle, and you go to the bottom. Now this difference, again, is not present at all on the LGC1. On the LGC1, there are zero, ghosting, zero crosstalk. It's absolutely perfect. But if I move this fast on the LGC1, I cannot see the alien eyes. I cannot distinguish the pupils, the clear white eye whites and the pupils of the alien. I cannot see them. And I can clearly see them here. So I would definitely take this. I'd much rather be able to see that detail when moving fast and having the ghosting than not being able to see it. Okay? But when you're panning the camera slower, then the LGC1 is much better, of course, because it is still clear and it has zero defects. Okay? But of course, the picture quality is not great. This is just an LCD, so the black levels are not great. And it looks also significantly dimmer. Also, before I show you the UFO test, let's take a look at that. Let me show you how dim this is, because it's definitely important to know. Okay, let me switch here back and forth to show you the difference in brightness when you turn this on, because this is what we're talking about here. Let me make it very clear. You have a feature here that is manipulating the backlight to reduce the pixel visibility time, to reduce the persistence, okay? Because motion clarity is as good as the persistence, okay? So how low is the frame visibility time? That is what's gonna give you a better motion clarity, okay? So this is the feature that is improving the motion. This is not responding very well, but we'll get there. Let me show you. It is called, let's go here. Okay, it is called motion flow. Motion flow, and actually Sony advertises this motion flow as being 480 hertz like. And I believe they are underselling this, because it's better than that, definitely. This is definitely better than 480 hertz. Okay, so it is, for me, it should definitely be just a strobing. Instead of flashing the entire screen, I think this is a strobing. It's an impulse, okay? So what this does basically is that, what it does is, here's the frame. Instead of showing you the entire frame, so the frame is drawn left to right, top to bottom. But instead of drawing the frame and keeping the frame on screen, what it's doing is drawing the picture left to right, top to bottom. And after you see a small section of the frame is going to scroll that down, but the rest is going to be black. Instead of keep showing you the frame, the rest is gonna be black. So it's gonna show you that frame. That's what's gonna do. I strongly believe that's what's going on here. Okay, so here's the thing. If I change this to normal, no impulse, the brightness difference is enormous. And right now on my camera, let me check that out. Yeah, right now on my camera it is all clipping because the brightness difference is huge. So you see there, it's absolutely enormous difference. And let me tell you, the difference is even bigger than what you can see on the video, because once you start seeing clipping on the video, then there's a point where you do not notice if it is brighter. It's just clipping. But in person, this is an absolutely massive difference, more than 4 times for sure. This is more than 4 times dimmer when you turn this on. But it is still usable, but it's very dim. Okay, it's very, very dim. The picture quality is not great. Black levels are LCD-like. It's not great. The colors also get dimmer. This does not have the color saturation of a plasma TV. Not even close. A plasma TV looks significantly better than this when it comes to picture quality. But the motion clarity of this is more than 4 times better than a plasma. Okay, this is 4 times better than a plasma TV. And here's the other thing, the flickering. We learned that the flickering perception depends on the person. Okay, flickering that you perceive is not going to be the same as mine. And the Blurbuster's chief told me that. So you cannot say, because, for example, I cannot tell you, oh, I don't see any flickering here, so that means that this is not going to flicker for you. No, that's wrong. I don't see any flickering. I do not perceive any flickering whatsoever, but you might see the flickering. So for example, my LG C1 at 60 Hertz, at 60 FPS with all the Motion Pro High doing this strobing, flickers significantly more than this. It's not close. The flickering is significantly more noticeable to me, but you might not see it that way. It depends on the person, but I can tell you that I just don't see any flickering. Of course, when I turn it on and I have a full white, screen, yes, I see that starts flickering, but I very quickly get used to it and it doesn't bother me at all. But it is very dim. So that's what we're talking about, this motion flow impulse. Now, is this feature better on this TV than other Sony TVs that are also LCD based? I don't know. So maybe you can find a different Sony TV on the used market that's also very cheap and it has this feature, or is even more modern. It's 4K. I don't know if they still do this as well, as good as this. I don't know. So do your research. See if you can find another reference or comparison from somebody else, and maybe you can get a steal of a deal. Maybe you can get this gigantic CRT-like experience for gaming. So now let me show you that UFO test. So again, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna follow the UFO test with my camera so you can appreciate the motion clarity. Let me show you the settings I'm using right now. 960 pixels per second, okay? So you would need 1000 FPS, 1000 Hertz sample and hold to be able to see the pupils of the alien perfectly clear, okay? And they look perfectly clear here. Now we do have the defects, but it looks perfectly clear, okay? So that's the speed we are at right now. And I'm gonna change it from the middle to the top so you can see the difference. Let me get this camera on hand so I can show you that. Okay, let me try my best to follow it. And focus on the alien eyes. See that? See, the alien eyes are clearly visible. See that? Let me try again. There you go. Let's look at the middle. There you go. So I'm gonna move it to the top so you see that it's not actually as good. Now you can clearly see there's a ghost behind and another one that's very faint. So two ghosts behind it. Now let me move it. I'm gonna move it to the top. So let me show you the bottom first. The bottom is very similar over here. At the bottom of the screen. It's hard to follow, of course. And of course, I have 100% scaling and no zoom on the browser. There you go. See the same three ghosts behind it. It doesn't look any worse, in my opinion. Okay, I'm gonna do one at the very top now. Let's move it to the top of the screen. Over here. Now you can see that ghost at the leading edge. But it's not that bad. The alien eyes are still visible. Let me try to get it closer. Let me get this one here. Well, there you go.